Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Martial Artist Reborn is Kenichi Shirahama. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 131, Nijima's Message. Next time I won't go easy on you, said Sakaki, hearing which Kenichi looked at Christopher as he thought all his bones are broken and you say that you were going easy on him. Ha! Kenichi, I am going to hand over this bastard along with his girls to the police while you stay here and keep an eye on Ghosh, said Sakaki. Okay, Master Sakaki, replied Kenichi, after which Sakaki left with dragging Christopher and his girls. After seeing the man who was trying to kill him dragged away by Sakaki, Ghosh took a deep breath, then looked at Kenichi and said, Thank you for saving my life. I did it because of my principles, so no need to be thankful or sorry, as it really doesn't matter, Kenichi said. Principle? Questioned Ghosh. Principles are beliefs through which a person lives by. Mine is to always keep my promises and protect my loved ones, and since we promised to keep you safe we did, explained Kenichi, then looked at Ghosh, who was lost in his thoughts. By the way, you should start hiring strong bodyguards, and I mean really strong, as you have seen that the chances of someone like Christopher coming after you aren't short. Ghosh's face turned pale as he asked, what should I do? Don't know, man, maybe sell your company, since that's the reason they are after you, or make a will saying that after your death all your property will be given to the charity, and I strongly suggest to not give your company to your relatives in the will if you have any, as they will become the target of Yami after you, Kenichi suggested. Yes, I understand, thank you, Ghosh said, and then Sakaki came back. Let's go, it's time for your flight, Sakaki said as beckoned Ghosh to follow, which he did without speaking anything. Kenichi stood up ready to follow them, but at that time his phone vibrated, informing him that he has just received a message. Fishing out his phone from his pocket, Kenichi looked and saw that Nijima has just messaged him, which was weird as he usually called him. Opening the message, he saw that it was a big one. Dear Kenichi, hope I am not troubling you during your mission. I waited till now because I thought by this time you would be free from whatever mission you were doing. There are few things that happened while you weren't here, and it was exactly as you said they would happen. Gangs are being targeted one by one, and all of them were asked the same question about you. From the information I have gathered, the Yomi, which are the direct disciples of Yami, are behind it, and they want the title of history's strongest from you and have sent few peoples to check whether you were strong enough for them to move or whether it was hoax and nothing else. Important facts are that these people attacked Thor's gang, Kanami's Valkyries, and another group at the same time. Thor's gang and the other group was destroyed as Thor wasn't with his gang, while the Valkyries were able to defend themselves against the attack as they had Kaname and Kazara there. All of them together were able to fight to the standoff until both sides retreated. Because of this incident, Kaname has decided to join our Shinpaku alliance, and she also visited Shigure yesterday. But the important thing is that all were attacked together, and there were 3 peoples in every team, which means that there are at least 9 people who are looking for you, and I don't think that even the full strength of Shinpaku alliance will be enough if there are more than that. I have called everyone, and we are in the main base of Shinpaku alliances to fight against them, so the moment you finish your job, come fast and help us. P.S. The main base is Kazara's old hideout, if you don't remember. 9 people? How the hell are there 9 people? Even if Tenmonli sends her daughter along with those 2 Zanshin Taishuria disciples, then they would have been total to 3, but now there are 9. How the fuck there is so much change in the timeline, cursed Kenichi as he ran downstairs as he called Sakaki. Yes, what happened, Kenichi? Asked Sakaki. Yomi has moved and they are targeting my friends in Shinpaku alliance, although it wouldn't have mattered if there were only 1 or 2 coming after him, but Nijima said that there were at least 9 people who are actively hunting them to find me, and if they don't see me there then they will release their anger on them. Now though Siko, Myo and Renka can take 3 high-class disciple each on their own, I don't want to take the risk that there will be more than that, explained Kenichi hurriedly as he descended the twin tower. Then it's serious, go and help your friends and I will take care of the problems here, as there isn't much left to do, Sakaki said. Thanks, Master Sakaki, said Kenichi as he went directly towards the parking lot where he asked the bodyguards of Ghosh to park his bike. Sitting on his bike, Kenichi sped through the traffic of the city, not caring about how many red lights he broke or how many speeding tickets he will get, as his mind was only thinking about his friends and family. Shinpaku Alliance hideout. Everyone was here: Takeda, Yukita, Siegfried, Kazara, Kenim, Thor, Myo, Siko, Renka and Najima, and were waiting there as they knew that the ones who have been attacking the gang lately will be coming here to ask them about Kenichi. All of them were standing in the courtyard as from everyone's consensus they have decided to fight here instead of inside the hideout, as it could be constricted to fight there with the likes of Kaname. Siko, who uses weapons along with Myo and Renka, likes the free space to jump here and there while attacking and dodging. Najima was standing at the back right at the entrance of the hideout so that he could run inside the moment something goes wrong. While holding the binoculars, he was looking at the road to see if there was any sign of the people they were waiting for. As he looked around, he saw some people walking towards them, and they weren't at all ordinary. "Here they come." Chapter 132, Bet. "Here they come," said Najima as he looked at 10 people walking towards them. "Shit. There are 10 of them. How are we going to fight this many?" asked Matsui. "Siko, Myo and Renka, can you 3 work together and take on 5 of them?" asked Najima from the 3 girls. The 3 looked at each other and nodded their head. "Good, then Takeda and the others will handle 1 each and will come to aid you when they are able to deal with their opponent," Najima said. None of them had any objection, as it was the best they could do. The 10 people reached the gate of Shinpaku Alliance. 9 of them were wearing the same type of uniform or battle suit that was dark in color, having shoulder pads and all giving a ninja-type feel, and only 1 girl was different. The girl that was standing in the middle of the group wearing a tight red battle outfit with a helmet, shoulder pads, elbow pads, a groin pad, and knee pads. She also wears gloves, goggles, and boots, giving her a type of skater appearance. "Where is Kenichi Shirahama?" asked the girl with skater outfit. "He isn't here. Went on a trip with his master," replied Myo. "Ha! The strongest disciple ran away," said a man beside the skater girl. "HMNP. His life doesn't revolve around you people. He has many important things to do." Renka snorted. "It doesn't matter, you will tell us where he is, otherwise you won't be able to tell anything after we are done with you," said the girl standing on the left of the skater. "I promised Kenichi that this Shinpaku alliance of his won't be destroyed until I am here, and I will fulfill it. It's a man's decision after all," said Siko as she took out a wooden katana, not taking out her sword as her father has told her to do it until she can use the wooden sword to cut metal with it. "We will see about that." Saying so, the 10 underlings of Yomi attacked the Shinpaku alliance. Kazara jumped towards the skater girl, and Kaname also moved towards the only woman beside the skater girl, and she was the only other person other than the guy who called Kenichi a runaway who was not wearing a mask. Takeda took on the man who called Kenichi a runaway. Siegfried faced another man wearing a mask same as Thor, while the other 5 men were standing against Siko, Myo and Renka circling around them, but the 3 girls had their back around each other and didn't look like they would be needing help. "Yo, can I get a name?" "I am Takeda Iki," asked Takeda as he put up his fists. "You don't need to know names since you are going to die," replied the opponent as he charged in. "Just know you will die to the Zashin Teishiryu. La 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 la. Come and let us battle," sang Siegfried. "Let the glorious song of my master fill you. I can sense darkness in the heart of yours." Oof. What a weird one did I get. This will end faster than I thought the man fighting against Siegfried. "So is the person I am gonna fight also without name?" asked Kaname. "Only worthy opponents get to know our name, since we don't want the unworthy to even speak our name," replied the female. So I get to fight the other female," said Kazara. "You got a name? Or should I call you Skatey since you like to skate so much?" "Right, Chili," replied the female. "It'll be the last name you will know before you die." "Ooh, ominous," Kazara shot back. "Nanjo Kazara. It will be the last name you remember before I knock you the fuck out." "I am Yuma Chiaki, also known as Thor, and I will be the man to show you the greatness of combat sumo," Thor said. Yeah, let's get this over with," said the man fighting Thor. "By the way, names, Mark, I should at least tell you the name of the man who beat you." Siko, Myo and Renka weren't even looking at the 5 people circling around them as they were busy talking to each other. "Okay, the one who takes out their opponent fastest will deal with the other 2, Myo said. "Yes, but it's bland, why don't we add something else as well?" Renka said. "What?" asked Siko. "The one who beat their opponent the fastest fight and gets to fight against the other 2 can have a date with Kenichi for a whole day," Renka said. A competition against friends can be rather helpful in the overall advancement, so I am in," Siko said. You guys know that this bet means nothing as Kenichi won't have a full day off since the masters at Ryozanpaku won't let that happen, Neo explained. Yeah, but that's Nichi's headache. All we got to do is tell him the result of our bet and let him make time for the winner. Renka said with a smile, so what do you say? Okay, I am in as well, Mio smiled. You bitches. How dare you look down on us, said a man who was surrounding the girls and jumped towards them along with his fellow comrades, but the three girls didn't even care about them as what they wanted to do was win the bet, and only that was the thing that got them excited. Mio jumped in the air as if she had wings and with a somersault in the air kicked the man who cursed at them with both his legs stomping on his face. Whereas Renka dodged attack of a man by spinning to the left, then raised her leg and with the momentum from the spin kicked the man on his face, while Siko just dodged the kick from the man attacking her and slashed her wooden sword towards him, cutting open the man, though the cut wasn't that deep, but it was enough to incapacitate him for the rest of the fight. I did it, shouted the three girls at once as they looked at each other, shocking everyone who was there to stop their fight and look at their direction. Naijima, who heard the whole exchange, can't help but sigh as he said, oh boy. Chapter 133, Naijima's Intelligence. Naijima, who heard the whole exchange, couldn't help but sigh as he said, oh boy, you are creating trouble even when you are not here, Kenichi. No, my kick knocked mine opponent first before your was slashed or kicked in the face, Renka said, folding her arms. All I did was dodge a kick and slash him next, which doesn't take him much time, Siko said. You didn't need much movement, but you had to control your strength to not cut him too deeply, and by that time I had already beaten my opponent, Neo explained. Why don't we ask our acting commander, as he must have seen everything, said Siko. Yes, let's do that, Renka said, and Mio also nodded her head. The two men who were still standing from the total 5 were incredibly pissed as they were very rudely ignored. Fuck you bitches, ha! Shouted the two as they charged towards the three girls, but the three were quite pissed at themselves for not ending their fight faster than the other two, hence were angry, and as they saw two men attacking them, retaliating. Mio kicked 2 times, 1 for each. Renka's palms landed on their stomach and Siko's sword slashed their chest, opening a wound on their chests. All 3 attacks were simultaneously done, showing how much great coordination the 3 had. It wasn't that their opponents were weak, but instead 3 girls have become strong and they are half-step in the expert class, all thanks to the pressure that Kenichi has created on the 3 of them. As their boyfriend, he has become strong enough to protect them from those below grandmasters and half-step grandmasters now, while the 3 girls were feeling left behind, hence they actively started to look for their father, grandfather, or uncle to protect them or advise them in the path of their martial arts. Naijima gulped as he looked at the 3 girls walking towards him and smiled thoughtfully. Thank God I told the guys to bring cameras to record their fights. Naijima, who beat their opponent first, Siko asked. Yes, tell us fast, Renka said. Who do you think it was, Naijima-san? Mio asked. Relax girls, I have told Mizunuma and the others to record every one of your fights so that you can learn something from it, so after everyone is done with their fights we can go inside the base and look at the video to see who was the one who won the bet, okay? Naijima explained. Good, this will be for the best as no one will accuse you of showing favoritism, Siko said. Mio smiled and Renka looked excited and the 3 of them started looking at the fights of others. After the initial shock, everyone had started to pay attention to their opponent and the Yomi underlings didn't look down on their opponents anymore as 3 of them had taken out 5 of their own within a minute. Takeda began weaving towards his opponent, dodging fists that were sent his way while returning with right jabs. So far there had been no clean hits between them. Not bad, complimented Takeda as he dodged a kick. Oof. For a low target you're not too horrible, replied the male as he parried a jab before kneeing Takeda in the chest. Takeda managed to close his forearms together to block, but noticed when his guard went up that his opponent's leg wasn't retreating. Rather it was turning his knee attack into an upwards kick. Shit, thought Takeda as he tried to pull his forearms back down, but it was too late. His opponent's kick landed in his stomach. What the hell is this person? Thought the man fighting against Siegfried as he continued to sing while attacking. The objective of that he specialized in was to break his opponent's defense, then attack with full power, breaking them as well. Siegfried, however, counteracted this with his counter-rotation style by rotating along his opponent's attack rather than blocking. La. Having trouble with my style? Asked Siegfried as he rotated away from a kick and countered with a roundhouse punch. Don't think I can only attack and do nothing else, shouted the man as he blocked it before going to grapple him. If I grapple you, then you will have no way to defend yourself. Kazara launched a kick first, just for Raichi to duck under and try to stab Kazara with a thrust. Kazara barely dodged it, but her shirt was caught in the thrust before Raichi pulled away. Luckily she was wearing a tank top beneath it as the shirt was ripped, revealing it to everyone to see. Kazara was angered as she was lucky to wear this, otherwise she would be standing here in the fight in her sports bra. You bitch, roared Kazara as she charged at her, I will kill you. Kazara-sama. Please remain calm, called Shiratori, she will get a psychological edge on you. Kazara responded by launching a barrage of kicks with just her right leg, forcing Raichi to jump. Gotcha, shouted Kazara as she flipped into the air, sending out her left leg to kick. Raichi quickly blocked this just to find out that it was a trap. Double tornado kick. Kazara's right leg slammed into her face, sending her into the ground. Ha, you weren't that hard, were you? Taunted Kazara as she landed. I don't care if you're a group of selected martial artists. In the end, the one who's still standing is the stronger 1 inch. Kazara flipped her off as she finished her statement. Raichi slowly got up before approaching towards Kazara once more, stumbling at each step. Kazara sighed before commenting, hey, now, I will recognize your stubbornness, but it's over. Shit, it's Chichukin. Kazara dodge. Renka shouted. Kazara quickly jumped backward, a bit shocked at Renka's shout, and followed it as she knew that Renka wasn't the type to interfere in a fight without reason. A second later, Raichi's hand struck right where Kazara's head would have been. Judging from the wind Kazara felt from the strike, she knew that would have hurt and possibly disabled her a bit. Chapter 134, Chiaki ending his battle. Shit, it's Chichukin. Kazara dodge. Renka shouted. Kazara quickly jumped backward, a bit shocked at Renka's shout, and followed it as she knew that Renka wasn't the type to interfere in a fight without reason. A second later, Raichi's hand struck right where Kazara's head would have been. Judging from the wind Kazara felt from the strike, she knew that would have hurt and possibly disabled her a bit. Chichukin. What is it, MS? Renka asked Shiratori as she saw how Renka was able to identify the fighting style from just a single look, meaning she knew about it. Chichukin, or Zuei-Kwan, also known as Drunken Fist, is a martial art where the user mimics a drunk person. This type of kenpo has so many styles that perform different ancient gods, which is what Raichi is currently using. Zuei-Kwan also have styles that perform one of 108 outlaws gathered in Mount Liang in the China. Explained Renka with a serious face as she remembered that the only man who was known to use Drunken Fist also has a surname Li, Tenman Li, and if the girl standing in front of her was his daughter, then it doesn't matter if they win or lose, as that man will attack them without caring about the difference of master class and disciple class martial artists. Kan-Aim, who was facing the other female, was able to use her staff to easily able to counteract her style. Shit. This woman's staff style is better than I thought. There is literally no opening around her for me to use, thought the female who was facing Kan-Aim. Kubitachi Ryu Goki, first technique, Rei Mei. Freya holds her staff above her head, then releases it down in a powerful downward swing to the opponent's head. The female opponent jumped back to dodge the attack as Kanami's staff landed on the ground where she was standing earlier, breaking the ground from the impact. Mark, who was facing Yuma Chiaki or Thor, was faring much better than the others, but he didn't had any clear advantage as though his speed was much faster than his opponent, but his fists didn't pack enough strength to knock down his opponent, who had high endurance and higher strength than him. Your fists aren't strong, let me show you the strength behind combat sumo, said Thor as he twisted his body and was now facing Mark, shocking him with his high speed with that body. Ana Harite. Thor slammed an open palm to his opponent, throwing him 5 meters back as he coughed up spit, but Thor wasn't done with him as he ran towards and joined his both hands to attack Mark. Thor's hammer. Thor's strongest attack, where he joins his hands by locking his fists together to form a makeshift hammer, his fists that he can use to hammer nearby foes in rapid succession, with enough power to knock down a person in one hit. Thor's attack landed clearly on Mark's head, knocking the daylights out of him as he let his guard down due to shock from Thor's speed. Ha, and that's how you attack someone. Up on the building looking down at them all stood Tenman Li. He was responsible for the 10 Yomi disciples that were currently fighting, as well as the one who would personally take Kenichi. When he heard Kenichi was currently busy on other business, he was tempted to just have them retreat. Instead, he decided to watch the situation unfold. Currently, the Zanshin Taishirio male user, Kurando Yakabe, was dominating the fight against the boxer, while the other male Ketsu Yakabe was having trouble against the one called Siegfried. Even with the grapples, the man would somehow slip out of them or spin too fast that he couldn't get a grip. The female user, Tsukasa Yakabe, was unable to get close against the staff user no matter what she tried and was slowly losing her grip from their fight. There is nothing he could say about the other disciples of Zanshin Taishirio users, as they weren't even able to stand for 5 minutes before they were taken out. Lastly, his own daughter was breaking out Zue Quan, or Drunken Fist. He was surprised when Kazara dodged the attack, while he wasn't much surprised when Marenka recognized that style, as she was the daughter of Makensei. Seems like Makensei is teaching her daughter well, Tenmonli said. The rest of the Zanshin Taishirio decided it was a brilliant idea to attack Ryozanpaku and try to claim the strongest for themselves. Tenmon scoffed at the idea, calling them fools in his mind. If it was so easy, then Yami would have done it long ago. Not only did he know the master of Chinese martial arts, Makensei, resided there, but there were other grand masters in there. And the one to avoid the most of all was the invincible Superman himself, Hirinagi Hayato. Tenmon had no doubt they would be completely wiped out and had opted to supervise instead. "Wait, time out," shouted Takeda after taking numerous hits. Kurando actually paused in surprise at this before asking, "What, are you giving up?" "No, I need to take these damn restraints off," said Takeda with a serious tone as he took off his shirt to reveal a full-body restraint. "I can't fight in them well. So that's why some of my hits felt weird," thought Kurando before speaking. No matter. The results will still be the same. "We will see," grinned Takeda as he snapped off his restraints, letting them fall to the ground. Round 2. Kurando threw a right straight, just for it to clash right into Takeda's left straight. Seconds later, Kurando's straight was completely overpowered, blowing his arm back and leaving him open. "Strong," thought Kurando as a right punch slammed into his abdomen and another hitting on his chest. But Kurando wasn't going down from just that and hurriedly tried to backstep to create a distance between and understand his opponent batter. "It's not over yet," he shouted as he regained his composure and charged towards Takeda once again. Chapter 135, Battle. "Strong," thought Kurando as a right punch slammed into his abdomen and another hitting on his chest. But Kurando wasn't going down from just that and hurriedly tried to backstep to create a distance between and understand his opponent batter. "It's not over yet," he shouted as he regained his composure and charged towards Takeda once again. "Finally got you," shouted Ketsu as he maneuvered himself around Siegfried before trying to throw him into the ground. He planned to punch Siegfried in the throat right there to end the fight. Siegfried, however, had other plans. Right before Ketsu could let go after throwing him, Siegfried grabbed his wrists during the momentum, dragging him with himself. Nirvana no Cannon, Throw Plus. Siegfried spun and counter threw Ketsu into the ground, causing spit to come out of his from the throw. She quickly rolled away when Siegfried tried to elbow drop him while calling out accent drop. Kanami's attack speed had increased as Tsukasa tried to come close to her. Tsukasa tried to use the bodyguard she was wearing to defend against Kanami's Joe staff attacks but wasn't successful as the Joe staff had more power than she could handle. Kaname did a feint attack to force Tsukasa to dodge, leaving her open for the real attack that came next, Kaname this time being a powerful backward strike to the stomach from the user's Joe staff. As she shouted Kubitachi Ryogoki, third technique, Yamazuki. Tsukasa groaned as spit came out of her mouth and she was pushed backwards. Kazara and Raichi were fighting in rather even terms. Kazara, after the match against Ragnarok, pitted herself against Freya and the Valkyries a few more times to train herself. Even though Freya said she had lost, Kazara didn't feel like she had won either. She didn't win with her moves, but rather copying Myo. To her it was not her win but rather Myo's win. That's why she started to train with Freya more and more and challenge her to spar with her. Freya didn't seem to mind as it gave her the chance to improve herself. The Valkyries were eager as well, mainly because they didn't get the chance to bat up Kazara the last time. Back into the fight, Kizara launched a kick to which Raichi ducked under before grabbing the leg and pushing up, causing Kizara to lose her balance before taking an elbow to the ribs. Coughing in pain, she tried to thrust kick Raichi away, but Raichi knocked the kick away with a sweeping kick. Kizara jumped away, just for Raichi to suddenly flip and try to land an axe kick to Kizara's stomach. Kizara, whose reaction was much faster thanks to all that training, spun lashed her right leg out, meeting the kick head-on with her own. The result? Kizara and Raichi's kick ended in a draw, forcing Raichi to land on her back while Kizara landed on her side. How did they get so strong? Sputtered Yukita as he witnessed all four fights. Takeda has a master and Freya has her Valkyries to train with, but what about Kizara and Siegfried? They seem to have improved quite a lot as well. Kizara has been training with Freya and Valkyries, replied Najima, which almost everyone knows except few people like Yukita. Then what about Siegfried, said Yukita. Oh, that's easy. I and Kenichi found him a master, replied Najima. What? When? La, I shall explain. Sang Siegfried as he spun and knocked Ketsu unconscious with a well-placed blow to the temple. My lord once asked me if I wanted to improv. I told him that I felt that my master was in Tibet. He then surprised me and showed me my master. I have never been in such awe of such wise lord. Who is it? Asked Yukita. A row of Tibetan prayer wheel, replied Najima, and some Tibetan prayer chants on recording and a big rock for him. How does that even work? That thing is not even alive, shouted Yukita. Hey! It's not only me but your commander Kenichi as well who gave me this idea. He said that Siegfried needs to improve his rotation speed, which can be done by a prayer wheel. Only then did I show those things to him, Najima said. Kenichi said that. Siko asked in surprise. It was when my lord spun the wheel that I understood that these wheels were the master I was looking for. For they possessed the knowledge of the martial arts I wanted to master. Siegfried said. That's bullshit, called out Kizara from her fight. It's good that you have a master, Siegfried, said Freya as she knocked down Tsukasa unconscious with an attack to her ribs, then another one to the back of her head. So that explains those weird chants and spinning I heard, chimed in Takeda as he launched a cross-counter against Kurando. He took in the new information in stride, giving a sparkling smile. Indeed. I began spinning on that rock, and continued as long as I could. I would have gone straight for 15 days and kept continuing if this battle hadn't happened, sang Siegfried as he began to write in some musical compositions in his notebook. Well, since Siegfried and Freya has completed their battle, let's finish as well, said Takeda with a smirk. Kurando gritted his teeth as he looked at a now prone Tsukasa and Ketsu, worried about his fellow disciple brother and sister. He charged forward, agreeing this fight needed to be over. He feinted a punch before closing and grabbing Takeda in a hold. You can't punch anymore this close, can you, boxer? Shouted Kurando as he tried to crush Takeda with a bear hug, before trying to throw him. Boxing is a sport that has no place in the world of martial arts with its limitation of using only their fist. And yet my master was exalted for using a gentleman's sport, replied Takeda as he shifted his left hand close to Kurando's chest, exactly 4 inches apart. What can he do with such little space, thought Kurando before getting a painful answer. 4 inches was more than enough space for Takeda to shift whole body and punch Kurando in the ribs, fracturing them. Kurando was forced to let go due to intense pain, which he immediately tried to rectify. However, it was too late. Takeda used this opening and fired a left straight, right into Kurando's head, knocking him down. Normally anyone would lose consciousness, but Kurando didn't, as his desire to protect his brother and sister safe. Chapter 136, Kenichi is back. 4 inches was more than enough space for Takeda to shift whole body and punch Kurando in the ribs, fracturing them. Kurando was forced to let go due to intense pain, which he immediately tried to rectify. However, it was too late. Takeda used this opening and fired a left straight, right into Kurando's head, knocking him down. Normally anyone would lose consciousness, but Kurando didn't, as his desire to protect his brother and sister safe. Shit, this does not looks good, thought Raichi as she noticed that she was the last one standing. If the other decided to join the fight, then she would lose for sure. She was already having trouble with Kizara, though she knew if the fight kept continuing she would win. However, she didn't have that much time on her hand. "Don't get distracted," Kazara snapped as she used a hammer kick. Raichi decided to end it, dodging the attack before hitting Kazara's standing leg. A second later, Raichi elbowed Kazara's nose, but Kazara blocked it with her hands crossed in front of her, gave Raichi the moment she needed as she snaked her body around Kazara, holding hostage and putting her thumb and index on her throat. "I have had enough of this," snorted Raichi as she tightened her grip on Kazara's throat. "Bring me Kenichi Shirahama or the girl dies." "Hey, that's unfair," Matsui said. "I don't care, I have a job to finish," said Raichi. "So you are saying that you will go to any length to finish the job of yours?" Siko asked. "From an opponent to a hostage, it was her fault to become one, not mine." "Now bring me Kenichi Shirahama," shouted Raichi. Kazara's eyes turned red from anger and shame as she became a hostage of the opponent she was fighting while the rest did their job well. No one from the Shinpaku Alliance said anything as the peoples they have knocked down had slowly started to regain conscience and move towards the exit while Raichi was holding Kazara. Things were going Yomi's way until they saw the members of Shinpaku Alliance were smiling. "What are you smiling for? If you don't bring Kenichi Shirahama, then this girl will die for real," Raichi shouted through her lungs. "I didn't know that I was in such high demand," came a voice from behind Raichi and the other Yomi members, and before any one of them could react, a hand came from behind Raichi, grabbing her wrist and twisting it, making Raichi wince in pain as she let go of Kazara's neck, giving her the escape window she needed. A palm came right after that, hitting Raichi at her abdomen, pushing her back as she coughed up her spit from her mouth. "You were looking for me, miss?" asked Kenichi, standing in front of Raichi and the other Yomi members while his friends were standing behind his back. "Hey guys, I am back, so how have you all been doing?" asked Kenichi to his friends while looking back. "Nothing much, Kenichi, just kicking the ass of some guys from Yomi for fun," said Takeda with a smile. "How was your mission with Sakaki-san, Kenichi?" asked Mil. "It was fun. I met this guy named Christopher, former friend of Master Sakaki, as he was the assassin from whom we had to save the VIP, and I got to fight him, so all in all it was interesting," Kenichi explained. Raichi was standing up slowly. "Kenichi Shirahama, you have finally came. We have been waiting for you for quite a long time. Now you can come with us on your own or we will kill everyone here, then take you with us," she said as she took off her helmet and mask to reveal her face, green eyes, and bright pink hair, a rather unique color for anyone really. "Now during normal times I would be happy to hear that a cute girl like you have asked me to come with her, but from the vibe I am getting from you, I would have to say no," said Kenichi. Raichi growled as she put her helmet back and stood once again in her fighting stance for Kenichi to follow her. "Why are you even going to such length when you know that there is zero chance of you winning against us in this situation?" asked Yukita, as none of their members were injured much and could fight again while none of their opponent were in good shape. "All for my family back in China," snapped Raichi back. "If I defeat Ryo Zanpaku's strongest disciple, then my 3 years of training in one of Yami's empty-handed training regime, Yomi, will have meaning. I will be noticed by Yami and be sent on high-paying mission, including protection, and if necessary, assassinations. Yami is the last living martial arts sanctuary. Other than Kenichi, Mil, Siko and Renka, who knows about the darkness of martial arts, the others felt chill down their spines after hearing her statement. Oi oi, those are some dark things you are talking about," said Yukita nervously. "I am afraid she's not joking around about that," said Siegfried as he looked at Kazara's throat. "She is serious. You are going after Kenichi just for money." "What a fraudulent girl," shouted Takeda. "You, despite how talented you are, have no right to say anything as a person who takes martial arts as a hobby," replied Raichi. "How could you even begin to understand? To me and my family, martial arts is something you earn your food for. And for some of us, it is our life." The members of Zanshin style who have woken up nodded their heads in agreement as they readied themselves once more. "So, it's all about money?" asked Kenichi. "Huh," exclaimed Raichi. "We have a company, the Shinpaku Alliance. You must know about it from the recent gadgets such as Android phones named TSA or tablets with same names. Our company has the most advanced techs and ideas with us which will need a lot of heavy protection from the outside world, and we not only dabble in them now, as we have decided to use all unique talents a person has. As my manga is getting its anime adaptation done by our company, with Siegfried writing songs for it along with his solos, which are gonna be a hits. Takeda wants to become a world champion and we will help him," Kenichi said, then looked at Naijima to start with his brainwashing techniques.
Chapter 137, Idiotization Ryu. We have a company, the Shinpaku Alliance. You must know about it from the recent gadgets such as Android phones named TSA or tablets with same names. Our company has the most advanced techs and ideas with us which will need a lot of heavy protection from the outside world, and we not only dabble in them now, as we have decided to use all unique talents a person has. As my manga is getting its anime adaptation done by our company, with Siegfried writing songs for it along with his solos which are gonna be a hits. Takeda wants to become a world champion and we will help him. Kenichi said, then looked at Najima to start with his brainwashing techniques. And most importantly, you don't want to kill, Kenichi said, giving Najima the signal. Yes, despite all your yammering, you actually don't want to kill, Najima said, pointing at Raichi. Raichi shifted uncomfortably at the statement while Najima continued, no, you love Earth too much. Even I can tell that you love flowers too much as you looked at them while you came to fight, and even now to make sure you don't destroy them. And most importantly, I remember when you came in normal girl's clothing to scout this place earlier and kept looking and playing with them. You noticed, gasped Raichi, as she was sure that she had done so without anyone looking. Nothing escapes my sight when it comes to my base, cackled Najima, but you see, those flowers and plants were tenderly cared for by none other than Kenichi Shirahama. Even while fully committed in martial arts, he has time to not only be a mangaka and writer, but he also take care of the plants here. I can assure you that if you join my company, you will never kill anyone to earn money. We share the same policy of Ryo Zanpaku, the Katsujinkan. Raichi was shaken at this statement, not knowing what to do anymore. A lot of good that will do, spat out Tsukasa. As we speak now, all of our masters and members have invaded them and most likely killed them all. Wait. What? Asked Kenichi in surprise, as he thought Tenmonli would have stopped that idiocy. How you are shocked? Are you? Let me say it again. Our masters by this time must have entered your Ryo Zanpaku and killed your masters by now, said Ketsu. Did you all have a head-butting technique as well in Zanshin Taishiryu? Otherwise no one would be such an idiot, Kenichi said. What do you mean by that? Kurando asked. Nothing really, just that our Ryo Zanpaku, which is currently contending against Yami, and even they don't have the guts to straight up attack us in our base, but here you are telling me that your masters have gone to do the job which even Yami doesn't think it can do. Kudos to you all, Kenichi said as he started clapping. Half an hour earlier, the Zanshin Taishiryu members had already begun sneaking into Ryo Zanpaku, getting ready to assassinate its members. For members had found Apachai juggling pins and bowling balls on his knee, readying their arrows and weapons. 8 more had snuck into Kensei's room, who was currently giggling perversely to himself as he watched a DVD special, featuring top models in bikinis. They had several naginata and blades pointed at his unsuspecting back. Akasame was walking down the hall, looking quite immersed in his book. The biggest member of Zanshin Taishiryu, standing at least 2 heads taller than him, was ready to attack him. Shigeru had undressed and slipped into the hot spring at Ryo Zanpaku while Takamaru and Noir were with her. Takamaru had taken upon himself to help clean Noir, even if the cat didn't really like it. 4 female figures were closing in on her in the water. The rest of the members were on top of the outer wall, their arrows drawn lai. The Grand Master of the Zanshin Taishiryu raised his hand up. Fire! Before the arrows could be released, all the archers were blown off their feet from the gust of wind. Now we just had the floors remodeled, said the elder standing before them while releasing his key. Neil managed to buy some much needed wood to replace them after all those challenges. If you want to fight us, you will have to pay the dojo challenge fee. As one would expect, it was a one-sided slaughter. Apachai decided he wanted to use more challenging weights and started juggling all 4 of the assassins with his knees and feet. Papa, cheered Apachai. Someone get us out of here, cried the assassin. Before the assassins designated to take out Kensei could react, he had taken them all out as they were disturbing his eki time. Can't you guys find another time for this shit, huffed Kensei as he used perversely while looking at the large breasts of the bikini model. Shigeru dodged and snatched her assassin's weapons from them and knocked out all 4 of them out, shredding their clothes into bits and pieces. People should not wear clothes in bath, stated Shigeru before sitting back and tossing the weapons. Go warm yourselves up. And thus, if the 2 sides are tied together, then the universe is bound as one, explained Akasame to the assassin currently acting as his seat. The assassin's joints had been wrenched out of place, paralyzing him while cried in pain. So, what are your opinions?
Kill me, cried the assassin.
The fight on the wall didn't even last 20 seconds.
All the fighters were down and unconscious while the Grand Master himself was on his knees, gasping for breath.
So powerful, gasped the masked man, I had no idea such a powerful man resided here. But you're too late. Our disciples will have taken care of yours.
Actually, he's on a little trip, and even if he was back I wouldn't have been worried about at all, answered the elder.
With a huge intake of air, the elder blew the fighters clean off the roof and into the ground.
You are lying, our masters won't go down so easily. There were 40 of them who attacked your Ryozanpaku, said Tsukasa.
Kenichi smiled and said, well, why don't you try to make a call to make sure if I am right or TSU. Chapter 138, Kenichi vs Tenmonli.
You are lying, our masters won't go down so easily. There were 40 of them who attacked your Ryozanpaku, said Tsukasa.
Kenichi smiled and said, well, why don't you try to make a call to make sure if I am right or it's you.
Kurando took out his cell phone and called his Grand Master's number. Ring ring ring, it rang 3 times and someone picked it.
Hello, who is this? Came the elder's voice from the other side of the phone. Grand Master. Where is our Grand Master? Who are you? Asked Kurando.
Oh, so you are Zanshir Taishiria, disciple. Your grandmaster, masters, and fellow students are all knocked down here in our Ryozanpaku dojo, replied Elder as he looked around the unconscious members of Zanshin Taishiria. Now you can come and collect them after Akasame and Kensei has patched them up, but don't forget to bring our fees for the challenge and their medical fee.
I would let my granddaughter do the math for it, or Akasame, whoever I find, saying till here. Elder disconnected the phone.
The disciple of Zanshin Taishiria were pale-faced as they heard about their master's condition. They wanted to run to Ryozanpaku to check on their masters and make sure if it was true or not.
Can I really make enough money without having to kill someone while being further my path as a martial artist? Asked Raichi with hope evident in her voice. Of course.
Smiled Naijima, slyly using his Naijima brainwash, though not now, but expect that our company to be able to expand overseas, and China will be one of the first countries we plan to expand into.
We could use you as our representative.
That's enough, shouted Tenmonli as he appeared between them all. Do not listen to such lies, Raichi.
Not when you have already mission. You are a disgrace to the family.
As to puncture this, he backhanded towards Raichi, but Kenichi was fast enough to pull her out of the way.
What type of psycho hits her daughter like this?
Kenichi said as he looked at Tenmonli.
You Kenichi Shirahama.
I have been tasked to bring you in with my own 2 hands, but I wanted to check whether my disciple will be able to take you on, but looks like I was wrong as she couldn't even take down your lackeys, let alone you.
Tenmonli said. Oi. Lackeys, seriously, WTF. They aren't my lackeys. You may not know about this word, but they are my friends, said Kenichi.
How doesn't matter cause you are following me, Tenmon said as he punched towards Kenichi. Kenichi, who was ready for this by already creating his Psychokin, deflected the punch without any problems, but that surprised Kenichi as he wasn't expecting Kenichi to block his punch so effortlessly.
Oh, looks like you are more than I have heard about, Tenmonli said with a smirk on his face.
Kenichi's Psychokin decreased as it became a thin layer around his body, changing to Ryujui's Psychokin as he had decided to use his recently made techniques when his opponent was looking down on him.
Kenichi's palm struck Tenmon at his stomach, but it didn't affect him as he used his Chishokin to deviate the attack.
Your palms can't destroy the ground, hence won't hurt me, Tenmonli said.
Chisho Runkan Shokin Kyapo, ground tumbling chain palm Chinese boxing technique.
And a barrage of techniques using continuous palm, fist and leg strikes while moving towards Kenichi at blinding speeds. Kenichi jumped back hurriedly, creating a distance between them, and looked at Tenmon with a smirk on his face.
Vacuum palm.
Kenichi struck his right hand forward and a vacuum shell compressed using the gentle fist is formed, moving towards Tenmonli, taking him by surprise, throwing him of his feet to the wall behind him.
Cough cough asterisk cough. Tenmon as spit came out as he slowly stood up, looking at Kenichi with a little apprehension in his eyes, but Kenichi didn't give him the time to get stable as he knew that he wasn't strong enough to take on the full-fledged master without the element of surprise.
Mountain Crusher. This time his palm hit the target at close range with a powerful wave of internal energy, Ki. Emitted from and the wall behind him was broken as he was thrown backwards to the asphalt ground, skidding on it, causing severe damage to him as he coughed up blood. There was a deafening silence in the Ryozanpaku main base as everyone was tongue-tied from the performance of Kenichi. Even Rukia, who was hiding behind the building and making sure that her sister was safe, was shaken to the core as she saw the boy know a man in front of her who before she even blinked had almost reached her, making her heart pound in anticipation. Kenichi moved towards Tenmonli, who was still coughing blood from the internal injury he got after taking 2 overpowered hits of Kenichi. "Now let's have a talk, shall we?" Kenichi said as he looked at Tenmon.
"No, my Shifu.
"Don't kill my father," said Raichi as she ran in front of Kenichi and her father.
Raichi, don't come here.
"Get out of here, go with those Zanshur disciples," said Tenmon as blood leaked out of his mouth.
I think there is a confusion here.
Have you guys forgotten that I am from Katsujinkan while you were from Satsujinkan? You both are making me look like a villain." Kenichi smiled as he ruefully smiled. "I just wanted to talk to your father about keeping my low master class strength a secret, as I don't want the Yami sending more people of your caliber to destroy my life here, that's all. Since you have beaten me, I would of course listen to your advice and not tell anyone about your strength, but what about those Zanshur disciples?" Tenmon asked. "How they will be paying of the debt which they will incur after facing Ryozanpaku, hence they won't be sharing this information to anyone anytime soon." Kenichi smiled.
"Okay, then we will be going," said Tenmon as he beckoned the Zanshur disciples to follow him.
"Wait," said Naijima as he came running towards Raichi and throwed his card to her. Raichi caught the card and looked at it. "This is my contact information, just text me when you have the time," Naijima said.
"Yeah, and if your father gives you the hard time, even then you can contact him, as I will come to where you are and kick his ass." Chapter 139, Rich once again.
"Wait," said Naijima as he came running towards Raichi and throwed his card to her. Raichi caught the card and looked at it. "This is my contact information, just text me when you have the time," Naijima said.
"Yeah, and if your father gives you the hard time, even then you can contact him, as I will come to where you are and kick his ass," Kenichi said. HMNP.
"I let my guard down and thought less of you, it won't happen again," said Tenmonli as he, followed by the Yomi, went away from the Shinpaku Alliance base. "So we have just won our first fight against Yomi, this calls for celebration," Takeda said.
"Yes, hell yeah, party time," shouted the boys. Whoa, what happened?"
"I thought that Ragnarok was facing problems and I ran back from the mountain, but you guys are all talking about party," came a voice from the gate, and they saw Shinosuke Tsuji standing there with a duffel bag on his shoulders.
"Ha ha ha, Tsuji, you are late, we just had an epic fight with Yomi," Thor said while laughing.
"What?
Aw man, and I thought, I will be able to fight the moment I return," Tsuji said.
"It's alright Tsuji, you will have your turn, but there is some information that I have to tell you about," Naijima said as he walked towards Tsuji with a smile on his mouth. "Ragnarok is no more, it was destroyed by our Shinpaku Alliance and the former members of Ragnarok has joined our group except First and Second Fist, so I would like to invite you join our Shinpaku Alliance."
"Wait, what? Ragnarok is destroyed, but how did I got the message in my phone that Ragnarok is under attack and needs help?" Tsuji asked.
"Idiot, since when did we contacted through messages?" Kazara asked. "Oh right, it was face to face or a call," Tsuji remembered. "Yes, it was me who messaged you to come back as we are going to fight Yomi, which is stronger than former Ragnarok, hence we want all the strong people we can have," Naijima said. "Moreover, these are your former friends here in Shinpaku Alliance, I am sure you don't want them to get hurt. I mean, what type of man will you be? $$%, $$%, $$$%. Naijima started his brainwashing, which nobody was interested in listening, and even if they did, it wasn't like they would understand their meaning. Days later, after both the incidents, Inspector Hanmaki had returned to Ryozanpaku with his partner to inform Sakaki that Christopher had escaped, despite their security measures. Sakaki scoffed, saying that it was likely he was already out of the country, as he had a lot of people backing him up.
"Oh, and by the way, it seems as soon as Ghosh returned to his home that started Inspector Hanamaki." "Did he get assassinated?" asked Sakaki with a sharp glare.
"Actually no. He seems to give and have half of his assets to the charity and the other half to your disciple Kenichi Shirahama and went off to live in the mountains in seclusion," replied Hanmaki as Sakaki's eyes popped open so much that for a minute Hanmaki thought they will fell on the ground.
"What is a person? What are principles and belief?
Were his words. When he went to seclusion, Hanmaki said, he also left a message for your disciple. I think as it was with his half of the assets it was like Yami can take it up to there, as though I don't know why he said that.
Ha 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 ha, this guy is intelligent, said Sakaki.
He was seen with nothing but the clothes on his back, hiking gear, a backpack full of supplies, and possibly some money. Not one bit of money he donated to the charity has gone back to him, let alone the ones he gave to your disciple.
Sakaki, what in the world did happen during your time with him?
That wasn't me, smirked Sakaki as he leaned back on his chair as he sipped the beer. That was most likely my disciple.
Who, Ryozanpaku's disciple is going to be fearsome when he grows up, chuckled Hanmaki before pulling 2 letters.
This one letter was sent by Ghosh, most probably about how much property he owns or why he had chosen him or something, while this one was on the hospital bed that we had Christopher on. We have already checked for any dangerous substance, but it seems to be just paper and ink.
Sakaki gave the letters a look before telling them he would do so.
Kenichi was at the Shinpaku Alliance headquarters, getting details about the fight before he reached there. Siegfried would have opted to sing for him while explaining, perhaps even making a play, but he was busy training via spinning on the rock again in his own private room at the headquarters.
Shirahama.
Fight me, challenged Suji once more, leaving a groaning Yukita.
Suji, after getting used to the fact that Ragnarok was disbanded and later convinced by Naijima via brainwashing, joined the Shinpaku Alliance.
Yukita, after training back in his judo, he felt like he could take on Suji, who had done nothing but train in the mountain. Of course, this was before Suji told them all about his meeting with some old man dressed in fur who trained him. The fight lasted about 50 seconds before Yukita was lying on the ground from the few slaps he had taken on his face by Suji. Not now, shouted Naijima, we are discussing important plans about the Shinpaku Alliance.
Go annoy Takeda or Kazara, they should prove to be a match for you.
Hell, I don't even understand why you want to fight him after seeing what he did to that master-class martial artist Tenmonli. You are right, but only by fighting him will I get to know where I stand, Suji replied as he remembered about those two have surely improved, maybe because of the fights they got to fight.
I can use them as a good measuring stick before fighting you.
It won't be like last time, that's a promise. I will be sure to get a punch in.
But first I need more fighting experience.
With that statement, he rushed off.
Kazara was at Freya's base, throwing herself into training, disliking the fact she had lost her fight.
Takeda was with his master, learning a few more techniques as well as roadwork.
Chapter 140, New Company.
With that statement, he rushed off.
Kazara was at Freya's base, throwing herself into training, disliking the fact she had lost her fight.
Takeda was with his master, learning a few more techniques as well as roadwork.
So Kenichi, how was your trip, asked Naijima.
It was eventful. I entered the master class even though it's low-class master. I am, for the better words, a master, replied Kenichi.
Yeah, about that, how are you dealing with the situation, Naijima asked.
I mean, since you are a low-class master, do you still plan on staying in Ryozanpaku and learn from them?
I haven't become a master in jiu-jitsu, karate, muay thai, Chinese kempo, or weapons. Hell, Elder Furinagi has only taught me one technique and I want to learn more from them, so yeah, I am staying there, Kenichi replied.
That's good, Naijima said. Oh, one more, this apparently I am the owner of the Ghosh Industries now, as that's what Ghosh has said in his letter, Kenichi said.
What? Naijima shouted.
Yes, here this was his letter where he told me why he chose me and how many enemies I have gained due to inheriting his company, Kenichi said as he passed the letter to Naijima. Naijima grabbed the letter from Kenichi and started reading it.
Dear Kenichi,
first of all, thank you very much for saving my life and giving me a chance to look at the world in a new perspective. I won't be wasting my life anymore by creating weapons that may end up pointing at me in the end, hence I am going to find how I am supposed to live and what principles I should follow. Now, for the reason I choose you as the inheritor of my company, it's because I couldn't bear to make my only son, whom I have kept away from me, to be caught in the middle of these assassinations and all. My son is the only relative I have and no one knows who he is other than him and me. So giving this company to him would make him a target, which I couldn't let happen, especially now that he has found a girl for himself with whom he wants to live his life. I am sorry to do this to you, but I know that you can handle yourself well, hence I did this, and there aren't many who can be a threat to you, so you won't be pressurized to make a decision that you don't want to.
Since I have given you the company, I don't care what you do with it, but I hope you do what will help you in the future. Goodbye and good luck. Win Ghosh. This. Do you know what this means, Kenichi? Asked Najima. Yes. Right now I am the largest manufacturers of weapons in Europe, Asia and Africa and have most intelligent minds at my disposal, Kenichi replied with a smirk on his face, though it's going to be hard to deal with all those corporation dealings, as you know that I am not good with them, so I will have to choose a proxy in my place for dealing with those situations. Najima's eyes lit up as he listened to Kenichi, then stood up. Say no more, Kenichi. I will be your proxy and take on the corporate world for you. Oh. How are you so sure that I was going to ask you? Kenichi asked, raising his eyebrow. Who else could it be? We both know that in the whole Shinpaku alliance other than me only you have a catch for business, but you yourself don't do it, hence only I can deal with those corporate vultures, Najima said. Yes, you are right, only you can deal with those corporate vultures, but start to flaunt about it as you will get a target on your head, Kenichi said. Ha ha ha. I understand that more than anyone now, Najima said. Oh. Yes, there was one more letter that I got from Christopher Eclair, the assassin that was hired to kill Ghosh, Kenichi said as he took out one more letter. Oh, what does it says? Did this Christopher guy made you his successor as well? Najima asked. I don't know, didn't got the chance to read after getting the shock from Ghosh's letter, Kenichi said as he opened the letter. To Shirahama, Kenichi. You have impressed me, and I say this with honesty. Of course my butterflies are not happy losing to you, but losses do happen. I cannot say I am happy with my mission either, but at least I got to see you. You will go far, but I know that your anger, unlike Sakaki, isn't just for show, as I think if someone pushes you to limit you may end up killing them, at least that's what I think. How far can you keep on the path of Katsujinkan? Or will you morph something else, someone else? It will be interesting to watch your struggles. If you ever get interested in learning some Savat, then come find me in France. You only need to come there and I will know you are there. I have my ways. Au revoir. Christopher Eclair. Not interested, as I need more time to refine my techniques, Kenichi said. Well, it can be used as an excuse when we want to expand our company in France, Najima said. Kenichi looked at him as he said, we have Ghosh Industries for it, don't fret. Ah, you are right about that, Najima said, nodding his head. Though for that you will have to deal with those corporate vultures who will be coming to Japan to meet me so that they can in their words buy Ghosh Industries from me, Kenichi said. Oh, you have just gotten it, but there are already people after you, but why are they so anxious? Don't they know that you can't have until you are 18, Najima said. Different countries has different age for considering someone an adult, Najima and Ghosh's company in all over the world. That wraps up this part of What If Martial Artist Reborn is Kenichi Shirahama. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.